what I have here on the table is a subprimal called a boneless beef top sirloin butt. Now that comes from the hip area of the animal. So this is where we get picanha from. Now if I lift this up on the side, you see this section here? That's a little cap. It's on the top, sits on the top of this entire top butt. I'll turn it around. And this is where the picanha is. So we're going to show you how we can get that picanha out of there. So going to get busy here a little bit. So first thing we're going to do, there's like a little bit of a cap on top of here. We just want to remove this. And we're going to throw this in with our, I'm going to call that trim. This can be used for hamburger. You can grind this up, or you can cook it up for your pet. You have pets at home, a dog. He's going to love this stuff. So I'm going to get some of this fat off the top. Basically what I'm doing is I'm going to expose the seam where I can pull this picanha right out of here. And then we can show you the entire picanha just as it is. So we got to the spot. You can see this ridge of fat right here. And just beneath it, there's a seam. There lies the picanha. So I'm going to go in there, and little by little, I should have worn my butcher coat today. Now I'm going to be all full of okay, I'm going to go in there with a knife and just pull. That'll open up. You can see where this natural seam is. Little by little, we're going to pull and get that picanha right out of there. And there's our picanha. I'm just going to trim this up a little bit. I want to leave most of this external fat here on the cap, because that's just going to add flavor, moistness for when we get this thing all sliced up and on that wood fire we have going over. It's roaring right now, so this is going to really work well. All right, I'm going to leave that on like that. All right, so there's our picanha. I'm going to slice this up. Now the grain is going like this. You can see the lines. So we want to cut across the grain. I'm going to square the front off. There's our one steak. Our second picanha steak. Third. I have a fourth one. This I'm going to reserve because what I want to do is we're going to skewer this. So we're going to bend these like in a C shape and get them on our skewer, so we can get these on the grill. But this one here, I'm going to end up doing it anyways. I don't want to let that go to the waste. I won't be able to curl this into a C, but I can at least get it on the skewer and get that cooked off. So here's what we're going to do with these. Just give them a little trim on the outside. We don't want to take too much of this fat off. Like I said, it's going to help us in our actual cook. Now, in the Brazilian steakhouses or any picanha cook, typically and classically, they use coarse sea salt. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use kosher sea salt because some of those coarse sea salts can be quite salty, and I'm going to do something that I know is going to come out the way I expect. So that's all. We just want to get these liberally salted on all sides. Now, typically, they do not use pepper, just salt, pure salt. Of course, you can add pepper if you'd like. So next thing I'm going to do, we have our skewers. These are typical what they use in the Brazilian steakhouses. It's about a 24-inch skewer. And this is critical if we're going to do an open fire cooking technique. You need a little length to support over the grill. So we're going to go in, we're going to curl this, and we want to go at the ends, the tip ends. So we're going to come in one side and push till it comes through. I'm going to do the next one. I got my fourth steak. And like I said, I saved this one. I'm not going to be able to curl that one up. I'm going to stick it right on the end because we want to get this one a little love too. We don't want to leave this little guy out. So there you have it. Now, I need to build a little bit more length so that I can hang this over my grill. So I'm going to go in the opposite side and go from the other end with another skewer. All right, so I'm going to get my other skewer. I'm going to go the opposite way. Just basically follow it exactly like we did. Go all the way across. Now you can use the existing skewer And that'll be your guide as you slide it in. So you're going to be just at the right plane as you're entering each steak. It'll all be matched up. And I think that's as far as I want to go with it. Because you'll see in a minute why I'm doing this. It's probably not making any sense to you right now whatsoever, but it will shortly when we get it over to the grill. You'll say, aha, that's why he's doing that.